Hi there, greetings from MaxVerbal. Welcome to this lesson on prepositions. The preposition is arguably the most confusing part of speech in the English language. This is probably because there are around 150 prepositions in English, some of which have unique applications, while others have multiple, often confusing usage. This presentation is the first in a series of video lessons on the what, why, and how of prepositions. So let's begin. But before we start off with prepositions, let's take a few minutes to revise a couple of related parts of speech. The first is the adverb. As you probably know by now, the adverb is the part of speech that modifies or describes primarily a verb. For example, in the sentence, Taylor sings beautifully, the adverb beautifully describes the verb sings by telling us the manner in which she sings. But an adverb can describe more than just a verb. It could even describe an adjective. Take for instance the sentence, Einstein was very intelligent. Intelligent is an adjective that describes the subject Einstein. But the word very tells us the degree, intensity, or amount of Einstein's intelligence. How intelligent? Very intelligent. So very can be called an adverb of degree. In a similar fashion, an adverb could even describe another adverb. Just how many adverbs can you spot in the sentence, Dad travels very frequently? If you can see two, you're absolutely correct. The more easily identifiable adverb is the word frequently, which describes the verb travels. How often does Dad travel? He travels frequently. But the word very describes the word frequently by telling us how frequently. So here very is again an adverb of degree. Finally, an adverb could even describe an entire sentence or clause. In this sentence, clearly bears love honey. The word clearly affirms, confirms, or stresses the statement, bears love honey. In other words, it is clear that bears love honey. Such adverbs, called introductory adverbs, are usually placed at the start of a sentence or clause and are separated from the rest of the sentence or clause by a comma. So these are the four roles of an adverb. For more details on the adverb and its types, watch our series of video lessons on adverbs. The second part of speech to revise before we begin with prepositions is the adjective. Adjectives describe or state the quality, quantity, and number of nouns. Let's dive into some examples quickly. Virat is talented. Here, talented is an adjective of quality and it describes the proper noun Virat. Although talented ends in ed, it is not derived from a verb. Talented is a standard adjective meaning with natural skill. Notice how this adjective has been placed as a complement of the verb is. But adjectives can be placed in more ways than one. In this sentence, Michael is a talented dancer. The adjective, once again, is the word talented. But instead of describing Michael, it describes the noun dancer to which it is attached as its attribute. Adjectives used in this way are hence called attributive adjectives. Let's take a look at another attributive adjective with a small twist. Can you spot the adjective in this sentence? The team captain plays well? It would be easier if you spotted the noun first. Well, the subject or noun is the word captain. And the word team, which is originally a noun, functions as an attributive adjective describing the noun captain. Which captain? The team captain. In this final example, let's go up a level. The ship was abandoned. Here, do you see how the word abandoned describes the state of the ship? it was an abandoned ship. But do you also see that abandoned has been derived from the verb abandon? Although abandoned can be used as a verb, in this sentence, it doesn't tell us the action of the ship, but the state or quality of the ship. Such adjectives, which are derived from verbs, are called participles. Abandoned, here, is a type of participle called a past participle. For more details on all types of adjectives, participles, and their usage, watch our series of video lessons on adjectives. Now that we have revised the basics of adverbs and adjectives, we're ready to begin with prepositions. So fasten your seatbelt and prepare for takeoff. A preposition is always followed by a noun. That noun is known as the prepositional object. A preposition and its object make something casually called a prepositional phrase. This prepositional phrase modifies or describes the noun, verb, or adjective generally to the left of the preposition. It is through this phrase that a preposition relates its object to that noun, verb, or adjective on the left. Now there is a reason why I said generally on the left. This is because there are some adaptations to this general principle, which we will discuss later in an advanced lesson. Now let's take a closer look at each of these cases one by one. Case 1. Noun, preposition, noun. Whenever a preposition and its object are connected to a noun on the left, they describe that noun, and the prepositional phrase behaves as an adjective phrase. Let's take a look at a couple of examples. A beggar found a pot of gold. Can you spot the preposition and its object? And can you identify what the prepositional phrase is meaningfully connected to on its left? Well, here are the answers. Of is the preposition. The noun gold is its object. Of gold is a prepositional phrase connected to the noun phrase a pot on the left. So of gold describes a pot as an adjective phrase. Let's try another example. The President of the USA stays in the White House. Go ahead, give it a shot. Alright, this sentence has two prepositions, of and in. The object of is the USA and the object of in is the White House. But which of these two prepositional phrases is connected to a noun on the left? That's right, the answer is of the USA. So, of the USA behaves as an adjective phrase describing the president. But what about in the White House? We'll discuss that in the following segment. Case 2. Verb, preposition, noun. Whenever a preposition and its object are connected to a verb on the left, they describe that verb, and the prepositional phrase behaves as an adverb phrase. For instance, in the sentence, Bagheera sat on a branch, can you spot the preposition, the prepositional object, the prepositional phrase, and the word the phrase is connected to on the left? Well, the answers are: on is the preposition, a branch is the object of the preposition, and on a branch is the prepositional phrase connected to the verb sat on the left. So, on a branch describes the verb sat as an adverb phrase. Let's now go back to the previous sentence and take a closer look at the second prepositional phrase, in the White House. This phrase is connected to the verb stays on the left. In other words, in the White House behaves as an adverb phrase telling us where the president stays. One more example. The hunter shot an arrow at the bird. In this sentence, at the bird is the prepositional phrase. But what is it connected to on the left? Even though the noun, an arrow, is immediately to the left of the phrase isn't connected to the noun, an arrow. This is because it isn't describing the arrow. Instead, it is connected to the verb shot, as it describes shot by telling us the direction in which the hunter shot the arrow. Case 3. Adjective, preposition, noun. Whenever a preposition and its object are connected to an adjective on the left, they describe that adjective, and the prepositional phrase behaves as an adverb phrase. For instance, in the sentence, "The teacher is angry at me," the prepositional phrase "at me" is connected to and describes the adjective angry on the left. In other words, it describes or adds to the meaning of the adjective angry. Now, can you remember which part of speech describes an adjective? That's right, an adverb. So "at me" functions as an adverbial phrase. Let's take a look at one more example. The Statue of Liberty is made of copper. Here, the prepositional phrase "of copper" is connected to and describes the word "made" on the left. Now, you might be tempted to think that "made" is a verb. But although "made" is originally a verb, in this sentence, it behaves as an adjective. To be precise, a past participle, which is an adjective derived from a verb. "Made" tells us the state of the Statue of Liberty, not its action. And "of copper" describes "made." So "of copper" behaves as an adverbial phrase. To conclude, prepositions and their objects together make prepositional phrases, which behave as adjective phrases when connected to a noun, or as adverb phrases when connected to a verb or an adjective. Well, that's all for now. In the next lesson in this series of video lessons, we will go deeper into prepositions and their applications. So stay tuned, and thanks for watching.